So Revenant just released a blog post outlining all of the changes to the new weapons that all classes will gain access to in just a couple of weeks. This is after the feedback that they received from the beta test event, which was just a few months ago. And as a Rev main, I just wanted to quickly take a look and share my thoughts on the new Revenant Scepter, mostly from a PvE perspective. So us Rev mains are getting a main-handed Scepter to add to our toolkit. The weapon seems quite hybrid in its design, a bit of damage and a bit of support. I'm personally most excited to use it as a replacement for Mace on the Heal Quickness Herald build in PvE. As of right now, the Mace is kind of just there for some extra might generation, which is really not absolutely necessary most of the time. And Heal Herald has lacked a proper sustained support main hand weapon to pair with its offhand shield for a long time. This, along with some buffs that we had to shield not too long ago, giving it more healing and Aegis, makes me think that the new Scepter might even replace Staff as my primary weapon on this build. But I think we'll have to wait and see for that. Personally, I really liked the concept of the weapon and the little extra mechanics that it had, like tethering to targets and auto-attacking to increase the effectiveness of the skills. But I will admit it didn't feel that great usability-wise. It looks like that's what they have addressed here. So the concept of charging your skills with auto attacks has just been completely removed, and the skills have been reworked a bit to compensate. So they make a good point here about like using the auto attacks to charge the skills was a bit too easy in PvE. Like when your whole group is just stacked on a boss that doesn't move, you really don't need to think about that at all. And then in competitive game modes, it's kind of the opposite. You can't just be constantly, hitting your auto attack chains on your targets, even if they weren't moving. Like hypothetically, even if they weren't moving, you can't just be auto attacking the whole time. You want to be casting other skills, So that mechanic has been removed. Skill number 2, Blossoming Aura, has been reworked a bit. So this skill can now be placed on an ally, which sacrifices the damage for some guaranteed support. So in other damage or hybrid builds, this will be an interesting decision that you'll have to make during gameplay. But for Heal Herald, you're most likely going to want to use this almost always on an ally so that you can get that on-demand barrier, which is very powerful. It looks like this is going to have a lot of barrier, this weapon, which is good because if you're using the Scepter shield on Heal Herald, that means that you don't have the staff auto attacks, which actually account for a very big portion of your sustained healing on this build. So this sustained barrier is kind of replacing that healing. The Blossoming Aura skill also no longer gets stronger with auto attacks since they removed that. So instead, it will just build up strength over time. And you can use the skill again at any time to detonate it. And this detonation effect will be more powerful the longer that you waited. So it sounds like you can kind of use the skill twice quickly for a fast, small amount of barrier, or let it cook for a while first before detonating to get a larger amount of barrier. Skill 3, Otherworldly Bond, has also had some big adjustments. Many of us Rev mains saw this one coming. The skill was just way too expensive to upkeep. You would just run out of energy way too fast. And they haven't even lowered the upkeep cost of this one, they've just completely removed it. So this skill now has a fixed energy cost. And if we take a peek in-game here at the skill in the sort of weapon skills section of the build tab, we can see it's actually very cheap now. It only costs 5 energy to use, which for comparison is the same as like Greatsword 2 or Sword 2 on Rev. So it's nice and cheap. By the way, it looks like the new weapon skills can be seen in-game here at the time of recording this. I'm not certain if this is intentional or not, since they seem to be missing some information, but you get to see the actual weapon skill icons early, which is pretty cool. Looks like the icons for skill 2 and 3 for Scepter will be sort of desaturated before they're activated, and then perhaps they'll go like full color once activated or something like that. And similar to Blossoming Aura, this skill will also no longer get stronger from auto attacks, and instead just get stronger over time for a fixed period of time after it's activated. Which, going by this early in-game skill tooltip, seems to be 7 seconds. And the effect will still change based on whether you use it on an ally or an enemy. Looks like that stays the same. Overall, I'm really excited to try out the new and improved Scepter. Looks like we've finally got some good skill icons as well. I'm sure if you participated in the beta event, you knew how bad it felt not to have proper skill icons. It was actually worse than I was expecting, especially for things like flip skills and activate and consume type multi-skills. It was pretty hard to know if I had like them activated yet or not for a lot of the time. The other weapon that I'm most excited about is actually Necro Swords. I didn't actually test out any other weapons really during the beta. I just kind of went all in on Revenant Scepter. But I've been playing a lot of Reaper lately in the open world with Axe Focus actually. And I've been having a blast with like the ranged power damage on Reaper. So it seems like Necro Swords are going to be perfect fit for that. Bit of range, bit of melee, bit of mobility. And they look really cool. They look like it looks like they've had their numbers increased as well, according to this blog post. So hopefully they should blast pretty hard as well. Keen to try them out. This next patch in about 2 weeks, not only are we getting all these new weapons, but the new open world legendary armor will finally become craftable. We get legendary relics. We get more of the Naos map, another strike challenge mode, new legendary bosses for convergences. The Wizard's Vault refresh, it's going to be a doozy. And just so you know, they're also doing another dev live stream on this date, which I think is like literally not even a day from when this video should be up. But they're going to be going over even more about these weapons, as well as a preview of the March balance patch. So catch that Twitch stream if you desire. And speaking of things that are coming up very soon, I'm going to be running some meta trains over this weekend. So if you're on the NA server, you want to jump in those, you can add me as a friend in game and you'll get a little message in your chat when I start looking for group. I'll go into this looking for group mode whenever I run any sort of train, and then you can just type /sqjoin hehex to join the squad, or just sqjoin my account name. It's usually around or a little bit after the daily reset, whenever that is in your time zone. Or you can just join the hard stuck Discord server to see my and everyone else's train notifications there. Pretty much daily train notifications in there. Alright, that's all I got for now. Let me know your thoughts on the new weapon changes. I'd love to hear about that. Alright, I'm out of here. See you gamers next time.